personalities.
Hello, everybody. We have our favorite person.
Hi, hola.
Auntie Lena, Auntie Jennie over here, little brother Johnny down there.
Little Becca Bellatrix.
Yeah, the little mayhem or chaos. That's chaos. Where's mayhem and pandemonium?
Breaking something?
Breaking.
Well,
they're in the tree.
you know, Stormy Daniels has named each of her breasts like Storm and Lightning or something, Thunder and Lightning. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Well, after letting Donald Trump touch her, she should name Untouchable and something else.
If anyone hasn't seen her interview on Jimmy Kimmel, is that his name? It's an eye-opener.
What happened? Do spill the beans.
Oh, no, I can't. We're live now. Sorry, guys.
You'll get demonetized, Becca.
Well, you know how I roll.
It takes a bit to shock me. And, yeah.
You were blushing? You were blushing?
Not so much blushing as gobsmacked, and I thought, go, girl. But I'll tell you later. Okay.
I wanted to say thank you to Mara Pemberton for the super chat. Thank you very much.
Oh, Mara's been so supportive to all of us for so long. Thank you, Mara.
Thank you. So any announcements, Auntie Jennie, little Johnny?
I'm going to go live on July 4th with Lori from The Way of Positive Change on her channel at 2 Eastern, 1 Central time.
So 2 Eastern, so that's, what, 11 o'clock?
Yeah, it'd be 12 Mountain, 11 Pacific time.
11 o'clock my time? On 4th of July, okay. Happy belated Canada Day to all of our little Canadian friends out there.
Yay.
Our great neighbors. Happy Canada Day, Canada.
You're doing a Trump here.
Yeah, I know, Canada. I got to do my hands like this.
Little hands. Little hands. And pucker your mouth up like an asshole.
Yeah,
we are petty tonight.
Anything, Johnny, from you?
Not a thing. No.
Not a thing other than eating bacon.
That's it.
I'm jealous.
I'll send you.
Thank you.
I'll put it UPS. I'll send it to
you. Happy July 4th to our American friends this coming Tuesday, and take care of your animals. Watch out for the fireworks.
Yes. Any holidays for you, Lena, over there in Australia, down under?
No, not at the moment. But in Australia, when I was a kid, there used to be Guy Fawkes Night. Did you guys ever have Guy Fawkes? No?
Never heard of it.
Okay, Guy Fawkes, the real person, tried to blow up Parliament in 16-something.
Oh, that's what the V for Vendetta movie is about, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't seen V for Vendetta.
Okay.
So it used to be our fireworks night. And my mad Irish parents were always worried about the animals too. And so I was allowed to bring the horse into the laundry on cracker night. So it didn't freak out.
Oh, that's really sweet though. Any announcement for you, Lena?
No, there probably is, but I haven't had a second coffee. So it's in my mind.
It's early for her over there.
I keep forgetting she's in the future in the morning.
Yeah. I'm so into tomorrow. Yeah.
I don't have anything other than I will try to make an effort to get online this week to do some grant tableaus. It could be a slow week at work because holidays and everybody's taking off. So, but the problem is, I always say that, and then I stick my nose in the book, and next thing I know, a week has gone by, and I'm like, "What happened?" So,
read a book.
I read a few books, so I will try to go live. I'm not sure who would be an interesting candidate for a grand tableau, since so much is going down right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like maybe we'll do Rudy. Who knows? Because we know he's in trouble. So,
Yeah, for sure.
oh, thanks, Peanut. Peanut just got me a strawberry from our little garden. So,
Oh, how yum.
so I guess, are we ready? Can we go in, or does anybody?
Yeah, let's dive in.
So, the Supreme Court just made a ruling. Based on a totally fake case.
Oh.
Fake. I guess the lady who filed it and sent it all the way up to the Supreme Court, her name is Lori Smith. I guess she's a web designer and was suing because she didn't want to design web pages for gay couples. And the people that she cited, well, the Washington Post went and found them. And one of the people that she claims was a gay person is actually married with a wife. And then the other person, I think, doesn't exist. Is that
that'd be right?
Yeah.
In the GOP tradition, yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing is too, like, you have to have had a lawsuit that wasn't resolved to go to the Supreme Court. There was never any lawsuit before. It's all fabricated.
It's and the thing is, I was looking on Twitter, and the legal scholars and the lawyers and prosecutors like Andrew, not Andrew, the guy that's always on MSNBC.
Ari Melba.
No, he was one of the. He worked for Mueller at one point. Andrew Wiseman was saying stuff. Lawrence Tribe was saying stuff. That this should not even, because how can the Supreme Court even take a case without? There was no evidence. It was all fabricated.
Yeah.
So can we start off? And they were saying that it's illegal to do something.
Do a
like
hypothetical.
that. Well, not for the Supreme Court, for the person, the Lori Smith person that fabricated the whole thing. They're saying that what she did is illegal. So can we look to see what happens to Lori Smith for filing?
Let's do it. Probably not her real name.
Yeah, that's another George Santos situation.
Hey, Lori, see you on Tuesday for our live on the Way of Positive Change.
Oh, and they were saying in the chat, Neil Katyal was also saying, so it's like completely, it's everything. She lied about the whole thing. So what happens to Lori Smith for making it?
Okay.
Thank you, Roberta, and thank you, Jane.
Oh, and for those that keep asking, if I may, very quickly, for those that keep asking me on the community page to post the questions, I cannot do that. I am using a free service online. I am not going to pay. So I have questions on the bottom of the screen. So,
well, we do too many questions. Mystery Achiever usually timestamps for us, and if you follow the chat, Karin Conroy usually reposts the questions in the chat for us also.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
So follow the chat while you're listening.
Have they ruled? The Supreme Court?
They ruled in her favor. So they ruled.
That's even better, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. So basically, if you want to discriminate because someone's gay, well, next they'll discriminate because of your color, your religion, whatever.
And they're posting pictures of that Lori Smith girl everywhere, and they're saying if you're a business, refuse her service because of her lack of morals. I'm like, thank you. We should be shaming these bigots because it's just.
Yes.
So what happens to Lori Smith?
Well, some of these right-wing super PACs and stuff help pay for stuff like this because they want it brought up to the Supreme Court.
So what happens?
And as if any gay person would want her touching their website. They never think of it the other way around.
Yeah.
Do you know what state she's in?
I didn't catch that part. I only saw that it went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled in her favor, and the whole thing was bogus. But I don't know what state. I'm sorry.
Can someone let us know in the chat what state
Sharon?
is she from?
Sharon Ann in the chat they're all saying Colorado. She's from Colorado.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody that she used in this case, and the illumination all coming out, somebody that she used to support this case is quite emotional and going to fight this. I think she's going to have another legal problem. It's going to be a new start to this whole thing. May go to the Supreme Court again because it was false and everything. It means if they do something on her, then they may have to relook at that and say, okay, there wasn't a case there.
But even the whole situation is completely illegal.
Yeah.
What you did.
The Supreme Court apparently knew before they made their ruling.
They knew it was fake, and they're like, yeah, we want to make this the law of the land anyways.
And heard the case anyway.
Isn't that a thing? Surely that's not legal.
Well, it is when you have a...
That's what Ketanji Jackson and Sotomayor were calling out in their dissents. Like, okay, yeah, we've just gone into hellscape here because we don't rule on hypotheticals.
So I don't want to.
And then John Roberts trying to act all, oh, don't be all negative about the Supreme Court.
I don't ever want to hear anybody saying what a great person John Roberts is, because that man has shown his ass way too many times.
Right.
So,
there's someone for a grand tableau.
There you go, Lena. You're a genius. You're a genius.
That would be awesome. John Roberts.
Because he has all this power. And he flies under the radar because he has that nice smile, like, I can't be too evil. Look, know.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that are so supremely dangerous,
Yes. What'd you get, Mr. Johnie?
So there's somebody who is being a bit... I hate to use the word bully because in this case, she kind of deserves it here. But there's like somebody who's sticking it to her just because. So they're being very petty, but it's like 9 notches past petty. There's the 7 of Swords. So she's got some sort of scheme that, of course, that she was working on there. But somebody around her with the 3 of Swords and 5 of Swords is targeting either her house or her business, somewhere where she does working. So it's like if it's a landlord, they're not renewing her lease. If it's somebody who is the landlord of the place where her business is. So it's something like that where this is having consequences in her personal life and is going to cost her a lot of people a lot of money too. The Knight of Pentacles, there will be some slowing down of business. So if she was a person who even had a lot of business in the first place, which I don't think she was, she had maybe some things that were kind of concrete, some people she worked for on a regular basis. But here with the Star and the 4 of Pentacles, that is sort of crunching all the way down. 8 of Swords, she's becoming limited. So this is actually having a ripple effect in her personal life that she did not account for.
Good.
Which, when you do things, go get you a tarot reading from somebody, and they could have told you not to do this.
You have to tell them everything.
No, Johnny, she didn't get a tarot reading because Jesus and God told her to do this.
All right.
Maybe she did get one. She just got one
and
from
tarot is the devil's work.
Yes, exactly. Jesus.
She just got a reading from that right-wing reader.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, they're always one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, will I go, Becca?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Oh, well, she's tied up in her own lies now, Now it's been all exposed. However, to me, this is the Supreme Court failing to do their job and look into things properly. So it was all, under the radar. They came out with their ruling, which is infinitely ridiculous when we know the background now. This is causing conflict, and people are trying to work out legally, I think this is talking about, where do we go from here? Is this another thing that gets swept under the rug on what Robert's watch, or do we do something about it or whatever? But I've got a legal vibe as the last card here. So it's possible. And look, the Bar Association of America and the big legal bodies need to stand up at this time.
Yeah.
You know, they really need to do that.
Oh, yeah. I get that there's a man that brings an argument that's going to take a while and there's something new that happens. So I don't know if this, because it's a man that's arguing, so I don't know if there's a man that's going to be suing her.
Mm-hmm.
There's criticism here. It takes a while, though, and then there's a new beginning. It starts a whole new chapter. So
can we ask, will this get reversed?
Well, that's where I was going to go next.
Well, what about a one card? Will it be reversed?
Yeah, because I mean, well, like Jennie said, they knew that this case was bogus and they took it anyways.
Because I can't remember if it was Judge Ketanji Jackson or Sotomayor that said in their dissent, like, we don't do hypotheticals.
Yeah.
In the dissent.
They just took the chance to, hey, bigots, you want it to be the rule of the land that you can be a bigot and not have any consequences? Here you go. We sign off on it.
When you're ruling on something that's hypothetical, then you're becoming a lawmaker, not a law interpreter, which is what the Supreme Court is supposed to be.
But Jennie, how can you ask Clarence Thomas and the other guy to interpret the law when they can't even figure out financial disclosure statements? I mean, you're
Clarence, because they also ruled to get rid of affirmative action, and that's how he went to law school. So he doesn't even realize when he looks in the mirror.
Talk about pulling the ladder up behind you.
Yep.
You know, pulling the ladder up.
We have to read on in a minute. What does Clarence Thomas see when he looks in the mirror? Because I don't think he. What the rest of us see.
I'm gonna use Johnny's words. House Negro.
He ain't been black ever.
He's an Uncle Tom, and I know that's horrible and extremely derogatory, but
that's what he is.
He's wearing that shirt very proudly and waving that flag. It's very disgusting.
He ain't been to the cookout in his whole life. We don't claim that.
No, Johnie. He likes Walmart shopping centers and RVs. Meanwhile, he's on a $1 million yacht, you know? So will they reverse the decision?
Will they reverse it? We're doing one card?
Yes, ma'am.
I had to do more than one because I was getting temperance on the bottom. Like something may take a little while, and I get when the court changes, then that's a yes card for me. So when they flip out some people on the courts, it'll get reversed.
I get a no.
Yeah. I get there'll be an argument over it.
I get potential. 7 of swords, 5 swords in the hand, 2 swords behind, which means that your plan could still fail because you left evidence or you left a loophole that somebody can come through and poke holes in your argument. So if the people who pick up the extra swords have enough argument behind why you should return those other 5, then I get yes. But that's going to take a fight, which I think the liberal minds of the justice are up for that fight. So I'll say yes.
Yeah. So where are we asking Jennie's question now? What does Clarence Thomas see when he looks in the mirror? Bring your teddy boots out, folks.
You got into law school off of affirmative action.
Yeah.
He's not black because his wife is white, so, and she's the racist, so he can't possibly be black. It reminds me of that Dave Chappelle skit where it's the black blind white supremacist and he's the leader of the KKK, but he's black and he's blind, so he doesn't know he's black.
Unbelievable. Oh, that's complicated.
So what does Clarence Thomas see when he looks?
Well, ain't that special? My card for racism and bigotry is the 5 of Pentacles because it is the people thrown out because of the differences. You don't really fit in here type of thing. I get the Two of Cups as well, which is the sort of meeting of the minds and the cooperations and the bonds and the unions. This is where his mind aligns, never mind his skin tone. So this is where the whole content of thy character sentence comes in. Who are you? Not what do you look like? And so it is one of those things to where it doesn't matter what he looks like on the outside. What is going on between his ears is the actual fight. And so he is that person and always will be, because in his mind, he needs to be in a certain place, not look a certain way. Now, sad part is you're still that color. And the people who don't like me don't like you either. And so I don't care how much money you've got and what connections you have. Harlan Crow is not your friend.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
you give him the minute to call you the N-word, he will, if he hasn't already.
Thank you, Igor.
Thank you. What'd you get, Lena?
Well, I went to the Italian cards.
Oh,
When he
those are
looks in the mirror, he thinks, this is him thinking, please. Yeah, okay. It's funny in itself. He thinks he's this soldier of justice sort of figure on the one hand. But he also, this is dragging in the consolation prize. He knows, because he started when he was younger, as I understand, as more militant. That person's gone and been replaced by, what can I drag out of the river to enrich me? That's the beginning and end of his thing. So he just sees himself as this rich, successful man. There's no reflection in these cards. There's no contradiction. There's no, no idea about anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
What'd you get, Jennie?
it's funny. I have the Three of Swords on the bottom, which is betrayal, but it's also separation. And I heard multiple personality, like he's separated from who he is. He sees himself as a successful, strong Republican, a celebrity of sorts, and there he is.
I get that he sees a gigolo and a player. So here's happiness, beauty, but it's followed by the mice. So it eats away. So we could really say, since the mice is in the middle, he sees himself as like some sort of vermin. So mice, rats, crows. No, that's an insult. I'm not bringing my crows into this. What else can be a vermin, Jennie? Cockroaches. Dirty cockroaches.
That's a good one.
But here he is being the hustler. So a gigolo and a hustler, baby.
He's a whore, is what you're saying.
Yep.
So.
He's a giggler and a
Which, I mean, okay, that makes sense, because he will do anything to get his position.
Because if you look here, there's happiness, there's corruption, and there's a gamble and a risk and a quick payoff. So yeah. A hustler and a gigolo.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions on the Supreme Court, you guys? Oh, I have one. The Supreme Court just ruled that the wrestlers can sue the school. So how is this going to affect Mr. Jim Jordan?
Oh, yeah, the super jock. Let's have a look.
Took away the time limitation.
Now, refresh, was he the coach at the time, or was he in? Okay.
He was the coach, and he turned a blind eye and told them to shut up. But tell
And
me,
as I said on my channel, it's a really big deal for men to come forward about sexual assault. It's hard for anybody, but it's triple decker hard. And they did.
And they did.
And then he still slammed the door.
Yep. But then again, tell me how it's the Democrats that are grooming the children. Please.
So it's about how will it impact Jim Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Republicans are grooming all their children to be liars and thieves.
They just passed laws where you can marry a child, Jennie, in certain states.
Yeah.
It's not new. America has the highest rate of child marriage in the developed world. Before that law, everyone's going, oh, It's
Yeah.
been the case in so many states. All you need is parental permission.
Yeah. Yep. There
Children,
you go, honey. I know you're only 13, but go marry this 47-year-old man.
yeah.
No. Mm-mm. That's just gross. That's parental and state sanctioned child abuse, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But
I worked with someone in that situation, but everybody involved in the situation was A-okay with it, mind you. They weren't married, but the man was my age. It's always that dynamic. It's very rarely a young boy and some older woman. But anyway, he was my age. I was 35 at the time, and she was 17 at the time, but he's known her since she was 13. He was married at the time she was 13, and then when he got divorced when she was 15, then they started.
I went to school in this one area in Florida where teachers in my high school were marrying students, and all the parents had to do was just sign the parental consent. Like, yeah, my 15-year-old daughter can marry this 20-something-year-old, 30-something-year-old guy that happens to be a teacher at her school. Like, yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's like, that's some backwoods.
Yeah.
They're like that. What are you guys getting on the read?
What you getting, Lena?
Well, I have to think about these in a sense. Like, if we take Johnny's thing with the Knight of Cups being the false knight here, this is Jim Jordan, who did nothing about what was happening. These guys have banded together and got strength from the fact there's more than one of them. You know, I'm sure there's many more who aren't involved in the case, but they've got support from each other, which is really, really important. Combined with this card, this is at least 3 of them working together. It's for Jim Jordan himself, this could be awkward. We know with the GOP, they never actually take one of their own out. So even though these cards are quite dramatic, I don't think it means they're going to go, ooh, wow. It's not like pre-2016 where it could have sunk him. It's not that, but the damage will be done. And with this walking away card here, I think he'll be a bit socially ostracized, not because they think what he did is wrong. No. Please do not misunderstand me. Just because it's awkward and it's in the spotlight. So they're going to step away from it.
Like, oh, you got cookies.
I think you pulled all my cards, Lena.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I've got the false knight and maybe having to walk away from him. And on the bottom, I've got that. You did nothing.
That's pretty amazing.
It might, even force him to retire. I don't get a lawsuit, but there's a lot of illumination from these underage people, underage at the time, that are taking an action. There's a lot of illumination on the lies that Jordan told, and he's going to have regrets about things that he didn't do in the school there. He was, the false knight. He tried to keep up appearances and stuff. Some detail may come up about him watching, like literally watching something happen.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, there's another dimension.
Because if he watched something going on,
that's another whole dimension.
Literally saw it. Then thank you, Beatrice. That's going to really.
And they're saying in the chat that he was the assistant coach. So my bad. No, he wasn't the real coach. He was like the assistant coach. And
I think he's the real coach who was doing it.
And the guys came up and confided in him, and he did nothing. Nothing. What do you get, Mr. Johnie?
So he is trying to move on from this Knight of Wands. Page of Swords means you can't, because this is your bad news coming in. Some delays, also a lot of tattletale, a lot of backstabbing, there's a spy in the camp type of thing too. So maybe somebody you talked to got all the information. Well, at least he said, she said on that part so they could corroborate somebody else's story. But here with the King of Wands, there might be an investigator of some sort he is already talking to or already been talking to, not as far as them getting information from him. I get the Chariot. He may be trying to persuade this person to lean a little bit his way, because right now is the time for the corrupt politics, because he knows what the implications could be if things got out of hand. And so he is trying to maybe make this person lean a little bit his way. And I say that because I had the Knight of Swords in the middle of those two. I mean, the Page of Swords. So there's a bit of the gossip and the lies and that whole person. The Emperor and the Nine of Wands. I don't think this results in like a jail time for him, but it's pressure of his position. So if he's not, he's been rumored to have retirement in the future sometime soon. He may not have a choice because his position with the Emperor is going to be under strain with the Nine of Wands. It ends in a very, very graphic death card. Maybe that's a premonition of sorts, but there's the death card and the Five of Wands. And so he will be embattled for the next few months, at least 6 probably. So I pulled a clarification on the Five of Wands and I got the Three of Pentacles. So I think this will affect his job going forward, hopefully.
I don't get jail time or anything like that, but I do get that families are going to move forward with investigations that are going to be very successful and shed a lot of light and a lot of energy on what he did moving forward. So there's families coming after him.
Can we ask this? Will he have to testify in a bunch of court cases on this?
Let's ask that. In the chat, Star and Flurry wants to know what deck I'm using. Thanks for asking. One World Tarot, which I did with Sienna Rose. Okay, and it comes with its own little book and everything. So that's it.
Beautiful deck.
Very good book too. Also, might I add, the book is available pretty much everywhere. Do not get it from Etsy. Get it from anywhere other than that, because what they're doing on Etsy is they're buying it someplace and then reselling it on Etsy for a higher price. And so they get no money for that when you do that. So make sure you go to Target, Barnes and Noble, everywhere is pretty much got it, but don't get it from Etsy.
Yeah, Etsy is like reselling them at like a ridiculous rate. Because Johnie and I saw some last time. He was the one that told me about it. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, no. So they're buying your deck, but then reselling it, Lena, and pocketing a ridiculous amount of money.
Oh, that'd be right.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Jim Jordan didn't honor the subpoena from Congress to testify, so it'll be interesting if he gets subpoenaed in a bunch of these cases.
Yeah.
Can you imagine his freaking yappy ass mouth? Like he's an auctioneer. It's like, shut him up.
Yeah.
Please. So
He's one person, like when there's committee meetings, I can't stand to listen to him. And during the impeachment trial, I could not stand to listen to him.
It sounds like somebody has his nuts in a vice, or like he's stuck on a bunch of helium, because his voice is so high pitched and he talks so fast. It's like, So let's see.
Okay.
Will he testify?
Oh.
I get a big old yes.
Mm-hmm.
I get a big old yes, like a whole bunch of that he turned his back on. He's going to regret that. I get 2 yes cards here. He'll have to be manipulated, so to speak, to testify. So they're going to have to like fight it with subpoenas and stuff, because he'll try to lay low about this. But there's something, like this is going to be the ending of him. I think he watched something happen, like literally saw it in front of his own eyes, and that's going to just burden the crap out of him. That's coming up again, but yes.
Wow.
What did you get, Lena?
Well, Same way. This is stressing him out more than he'd admit. As someone just said in the chat, Jim Jordan comes to work every day after an argument with his wife. Right. Now, this is sort of what it's like. It's causing more tension behind the scenes with him. It's not so much his electorate, you know, they're all tame, they're in the bag. It's his private life. Anyway, it's not going away. In fact, it's speeding up with this 8 of Wands. He's going to try and outrun it, you know, get in his chariot and try and run, meaning not accept the subpoena. But he won't have a choice in the end, is what I get with this.
Good. What do you get, Donnie?
I get that there may be an initial, because they have the Page of Wands in the Chariot, so you'll have to twist his arm, of course. But something may be written at first, or some sort of statement prepared beforehand. But that's only at first, because then I do get the Hierophant. Something does sort of stick to the tradition of you, or because this is going to be a multiple thing. So one statement isn't going to cut it. And then I get the Ace of Cups and the 9 of Swords. He's going to, because he's very nervous about this.
Yeah,
Because of
much
course
more than I thought.
Yeah, because he knows exactly what he did and what happened. And what now I think he's worried about, this not necessarily in these cards, but what I think he's worried about is navigating the landmines, because you can't say the wrong thing at this point, because you have all of these stories coming at you saying he knew this, he knew that, he knew this, he knew that, and then all the fingers are pointing at him. And so he's extremely nervous, and he's trying to walk the minefield, which is why I think it might be written at first or something recorded, and then a in-person court thing later on.
I was seeing in the chat that they were saying, someone had mentioned that some of the victims had claimed that Jim Jordan was crying, begging them not to tell.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That
Because
kind of
in-
speaks to he's got some skeletons in his closet.
Yeah.
Look, exactly.
You think?
And here's the twist in the tale. In his macho heartland, a man breaking down and begging is almost worse than the original offense.
Yes.
You know, that'll really damn him.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But
Like,
that's not what alpha males do.
that's not what alpha males do.
Yep.
You know.
Toxic masculinity. I got a
Yeah.
big old resounding yes. There, he's linked somehow. There's a link here. There's a lot of heat, and then this person here. So this could be the people that he was coaching that trusted him, or it could be him in a position where he had a lot of energy, where he was the one that was supposed to be trusted, but he's linked. So yeah, he's going to have to. So that's just damn, that's creepy, dude. He was crying, begging people not to tell. Wow.
Interesting aspect of the whole thing, I think.
Yeah. Plot twist, you know. Any more questions on the Supreme Court that we want to ask about? Because I know that they just did the ruling where they took away affirmative action for college admissions. So it's not affirmative actions everywhere. It's for, I think it applies only to college admissions. And I read part of the dissent from Ketanji Brown, and she just ripped them all new assholes, you know. So did we want to look at that? Because that's just kind of like you're leaving the door open to take away affirmative action for everything, employment, like everything, you know, housing. Did you guys want to look at that or no? Like,
Maybe we should look and see if it'll get reversed later also. Because there's decided law, and yet the Supreme Court keeps going back and reversing it, like Roe v. Wade.
because we're going back to the 1800s, Jen.
Yeah, because if they can reverse everything, then we can come back in 2 years and reverse it all again. You know.
And meanwhile, there's a black guy on the conservative side who doesn't seem to know that he's black, and a white woman that's conservative that doesn't seem to know that she's a white conservative woman. And you keep ruling this way, pretty soon you're going to rule your own rights away. You know, like.
Yeah.
Because eventually you run out of the other and you become the target.
That's exactly it.
But these rulings that they're making are to target people that they represent, Johnie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that gets me about Clarence Thomas. You're ruling in favor of laws that were you not in the position that you're in, you would be a target of these laws. You know, like
when he's ruling against things that he benefited from.
Mind you, that is the formula for GOP voters. Vote against your own interests. You vote
exactly.
So, I mean, they're going to do it too.
Yeah.
So
Karin in the chat asks, I wonder if colleges will ignore the reversal. That's
If what?
interesting.
Let's look at that next, but let's see, will they reverse this?
I wonder if colleges will ignore this new law.
Well, I was looking at I don't think so. I was looking at some of the rates at the elite universities, and they barely, I think Harvard was a big one, barely follow the
affirmative action
yeah, the
guideline.
affirmative action anyways, barely making quota. So
And speaking as an academic, what will happen, I think, is the elite places will go, oh God, we don't have to deal with that anymore. Thank you, Jesus. And it'll be the underfunded, understaffed community colleges that'll be trying to do the right thing. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
But and even the way that it was worded, Ketanji Brown lit fires under their asses because they're preserving legacies in these universities, and she's like, well, the only people that have legacies are white rich people that are privileged.
Yes, exactly.
You know, so it's
Hello.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But
Otherwise, a family member dies and you get left with their debts.
Yeah.
You know, and the funeral costs. You know.
Exactly.
I get when the court shifts again. I'm getting like, you know, when after a while when the court shifts again, there's a very strong chance that they'll return to this, and there's a yes card that they'll reverse this, but it's going to be a while.
What'd you get, Lena?
Well, I think I stopped at the sun. I think it's possible, more than possible, a version of it will come back. Maybe not as broad as it is now, but a version of it. So I was just quite happy with that card. Yeah.
And the person asking in the chat, I'm pretty sure they ruled on it. So it's not an opinion. They ruled.
Yeah. It's ruled.
Yeah, it's ruled. So it's settled law.
But look,
right
it's
now.
one of those topics that upsets the sort of white heartland, because the assumption is, oh, this is black people getting something for nothing. Why are my taxes being used? Affirmative action isn't just about African Americans. You know, it's about all sorts of groups that are systemically disadvantaged.
Exactly.
Not one-off families, you know.
But
It makes me really angry. And I always have this conversation every year when I was teaching with my 19 and 20-year-old white students. You know, they, meaning Aboriginal people, they get given everything. I say, really? Well, we took their land. Perhaps it's not everything, you know, like you start from there.
And that's another thing that they just ruled on, Lena. There was something about the water rights in reservations for the Native Americans. They took that away too, in another Supreme Court ruling.
No, it's same way in Australia. You can have land rights, except we're going to mine on it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know, it's just rubbish, you know.
Yeah. What did you get, Mr.
I get, yes, basically. I get the 8 of Cups, so it will be abandoned for something else there. I get the 6 of Swords, too. 6 of Swords is a transition and a moving away from something, but it's troubled because they're going through the stormy sea first. So it may look different on the other side because it has to go through some things. So, but I do still get yes eventually. Now, I also will add, I don't see Joe Biden expanding the Supreme Court, but at the same time, there is a collaboration with probably 3 other people. And so I don't know if the justices get together and someone dissents and goes to the other. I don't know exactly why, but there's 3 people that go into collaboration. So if he adds 3, or if there's just 3 who change their mind, something like that. So
I say bump it up to 13 and fuck them. I get a no. I only pulled 1 card, so I get it.
Yeah.
So,
I got one more question on SCOTUS.
okay.
But well, not on SCOTUS, but on their ruling that, yeah, it's okay, you can discriminate. Will we see companies, mom and pop restaurants and shops and things discriminate against MAGA people?
Yeah.
Because,
Like I said,
hey,
these stupid
don't
sons
come
of
in here with
bitches-
your MAGA hat on.
these
Yeah.
stupid sons of bitches think they have license to be bigots
Yeah.
for everybody else, but they
Just-
sure don't like it when the shoe's on the other foot.
That's right, like
Yeah.
banning the Bible in schools and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I'm loving that. I'm loving it.
Don't
So
go
will
on
we
their
see some-
bad shit.
Will we see some discrimination against MAGAs in their little
Yeah.
red hats?
Or let's say a test case. Will there be a test case in reverse?
Yep.
So there is discrimination already, but it's more of a high profile. Remember, Sarah Huckabee Sanders was asked to leave the restaurant once because when she was press secretary.
Yep.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, take it very loosely, said she was attacked in a restaurant because of who she is and was told to leave too. It was another MAGA person that also had sort of a similar story. I forget their name, but these are the high profile people though.
Yeah. Will there be a pushback case?
Be opening up cans of worms because it's like they're all of them are sharing half a brain cell because they come up with these stupid, ridiculous laws without thinking how those same laws that they're pushing for to discriminate against other people can be used to discriminate against them.
Yeah.
You know, like they're dumb.
This feels like to me, I don't have the Knight of Pentacles. I have the 3 of Pentacles though. This feels like it targets those in VOTech industries like the electricians and plumbers and things like that, or auto mechanics, somebody who's a little more specialized in their service. I do get the 4 of Wands. There's a business of some sort. And then the 3 of Pentacles, the 2 of Swords. So there's decisions to be made. Somebody's been blocked as well. Ace of Swords, 9 of Swords. So yes, there will be some discrimination, but it feels as though the business itself is being targeted because you may have a MAGA hat on your dashboard in your truck, and it's like, you know what, I actually don't want you to cut my grass today. I don't want you to do whatever. And so it feels that way to where they are sort of being micro targeted, and there's going to be a story about this. So there will be, it's probably not widespread, but in some city somewhere, there will be some stories about this, people being targeted because of MAGA flags.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What did you get, Lena?
Well, it kicked off with the judgment card, so I think there will be something. Page of Wands, I think someone's got the energy to take on this case as a test case and to say, you know, what needs to be said. They're quite confident in talking that language. Excuse me. The moon here, which is, it's going to make the law itself, this new law, very unclear, which I take this last card to be, which will be a burden for the courts, because where do they go with such a case?
Because law's been set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Supreme Court. I get there. It's going to be all kinds of inspiration for this. It's all you guys committed to Trump and MAGA verse and Republicans. Yeah, there's going to be some strong action against you guys. Trying to get to calmer water. Watch for this. The Chariot for me is also a card for transportation, like an automobile. So watch for somebody like a MAGA truck person going into a car wash or a Jiffy Lube or something, refuse service because their car's all decked out in Trump stuff. I also get there maybe a couple of women that one of them blocks the other one, and that may end up going back to court or something, or trying to stir something up there. But it's y'all made this. You've already made this. This is you made the law. That's what you offered up. You don't have a leg to stand on it. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Mm-hmm. I get that there's one woman in particular that's going to be getting the brunt of it. So I don't know if this is going to be that Julie Smith person that made up that fake situation that went to the Supreme Court, or another person, another Karin. I don't know. But there's a woman here that gets taken to task, and she ends up losing a lot.
Suddenly, she doesn't have a dry cleaner. She doesn't have a place. She can get her oil changed or anything. Like everybody starts telling her. No.
It should be made clear that there are social consequences for fucking bigots. Speaking of which, I saw on the Ring of Fire a couple days ago that, because of all of the laws that DeSantis is passing in Florida, besides the immigrant workers hightailing it out of the state,
and the teachers,
probably pretty soon doctors, because Lord forbid you give a woman health care.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, he's flushing the whole state down the toilet. Now the truckers are talking about boycotting the state of Florida. Truckers unions are talking about boycotting the state of Florida because of their bigoted laws targeting immigrants.
See, this is why they wanted to get rid of unions in the first place. Unions get people together.
Yeah.
Unions can make a difference, and they're coming back.
So they're threatening it right now, and the only place I've seen it is on Ring of Fire, and he lives in Florida, so he's well aware of the situation. So will the truckers boycott Florida? Because then if they do, DeSantis is going to have a whole nother mess.
He's going to have all his oranges rotting, and he's going to not be able to get product around the state.
It's a big threat.
But hey, you can always pray to Jesus, and those moms for hate build everything for you. So will the truckers boycott Florida?
Will the truckers? Oh, Marie, you're a proud Teamster, retired. Up the workers. Yep. Mm-hmm. And it's only when this happens that people realize what manual workers, what skilled and unskilled workers do.
This is funny that you're saying that, because I watched a video from the local news. It was on YouTube of Fort Myers, where I used to live there before I moved out here to California. And they had all of the immigrant workers protesting the bans on immigration and everything else. And they're interviewing the immigrants, and they're like, we work hard. We've been here for 20, 30 years. We pay taxes. We pay into Social Security. We don't draw benefits from it, but we work hard, and we're doing the job that no white person wants to do.
Exactly.
And it was a huge crowd. And then they go to this other crowd full of white people, maybe 20 white old people that are like, well, we just want everybody to come in here like everybody else does, and we don't want them criminals coming, so they blah, 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 blah. I'm like, have fun doing your own work, bitch. Have fun mowing your own lawn in 95-degree heat with mosquitoes this big chomping at your ass.
And by the way, all those immigrants who shipped to Martha's Vineyard now get green cards and get to stay in the USA as opposed to being deported, because a crime has been committed against them for trafficking them.
Yep. So will the truckers boycott the state of Florida?
Oh, God.
What's crazy too is, okay, you don't want the illegals coming in bringing the crime. I guarantee you watch any news in any city, any state, 10 times out of 10, the crime that they are reporting came from somebody who was born here, first of all. And secondly, the sad part is they can boycott and sort of ruin maybe the livelihood or the business of somebody there in Florida. It reflects negatively on DeSantis, but he can't run for Florida governor again, apparently, because he's termed out now. Yep. So he doesn't care, but he is trying to run for president. And you do need Florida to back you up. And so step on your own feet.
And I just watched a video as a Cuban American. Okay. I was first generation American. My family came from Cuba. I just watched a video not too long ago about, I think it was a town hall or something, of a bunch of Cubans, and I've never understood. I'm like, how the fuck are these Cuban people voting for this goddamn Nazi? He makes Castro look like a fucking saint.
Yeah.
I just watched a town hall where this lady who's an author, I forget her name, but she's a Cuban author, and she was saying, this man is worse than Castro. Who else banned books? Castro. Who else banned this and that? And she's going, Castro, Castro, Castro. She's like, we can't keep supporting this man as a Hispanic community. I'm like, finally somebody's saying something.
Yeah.
You know?
Because this has been a problem for 40 years in terms of the voting demographic. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But now your generation's coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nostalgia, wanting things the way that used to be. You guys created this law. Now we're going to manipulate it and bully you right back. You're going to be out in the cold. And I get there's an agreement in the whole network of truckers.
Oh, Jen Lynn, we've done it again.
Hey, you guys stop reading each other's cards, damn it.
You know, that this is a sacrifice for change, and the businessmen, as they start losing steady money, are going to be all up in arms over this. Like, look what you've done. So I get a yes, they will.
Mm-hmm. What did you get, Auntie Lena?
Well, this could be juicy. Or I'm just not reading it well. We'll see. But okay, there's talk, agreements. I think this might be other union or at least organized groups as well as transport talking about this. They have the ability with this Seven of Swords to really incur some pain. But this is suggesting to me DeSantis himself will bring in some other emergency fascist overnight law to stop them doing it, leaving them out in the cold. It's like, I think this is just another rung in the ladder, you know, of what could happen with this. So I think they'll try, and I think they'll be stopped, and I think that'll lead, hopefully, to further action in support.
He's just flushing that whole state down the toilet. What'd you get, Johnny?
Yes. The Lover's card and the Nine of Pentacles, not Nine of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles. There's a relationship that is building up, though. So this not just them. They're going to have like a collaboration with other industries. And this is the thing that turns the mind, I don't care of who you are, it turns the mind, well, maybe not Trump, but turns the mind of most people, because it's not just, you can pick on Disney and Disney can hurt you, but that's more of a personal vendetta than it is anything.
Yeah.
But when the truckers and then the farmers and then the this and then the that, and then and so you can start to win any war, you must undermine the allies. And so they can start picking out all this bottom stuff that you don't pay much attention to until you need it and it's not there. And so they got a lot of people that are going to go into collaboration, and then the Hangman. So yes, there will be some suspension. And the Six of Wands and the Ten of Swords, it hurts the leader. And so there with his pants down. And so it hurts the leader. With that
I forgot about that too, Johnny, that you just mentioned. The farmers are losing workers.
Yeah.
Everybody's hightailing it out of Florida because they're scared of men. And then the Republicans freaking out, trying to bring everybody in. No. That law has no teeth. It has no teeth. We just wrote it. So you're telling me that you spent taxpayer money to write up a bullshit bill to get your idiots to support you, to target minorities. And now that the minorities are fleeing, you're telling them, oh, no, that was a bullshit bill. There's nothing to be afraid of. So, now farmers are losing workers. I get, yes. I got the clouds, the crossroads, and the anchor. It's a mundane thing. This could be some bad weather, so perhaps there might be a couple of storms coming. And after that or during that is when it's like when they achieve what their goal. Do you see what I'm saying? So, and I was seeing also on the news that the interest rates for insurance in Florida is through the freaking roof because of all the
I've seen that too.
You know, the state isn't helping out the people like it should be. You know, like, so it's just he's flushing the whole thing down the toilet, and these bigots are more than happy to keep voting because he gives them the right to be racist. You know,
it all comes down to the same core issue.
Yeah.
I think what I don't understand about DeSantis is, had he just shut up and just cruised a middle path, he would have a very good chance at the next election, given Biden's age and everything. But it's fantastic that he's shown himself as the complete fascist that he is.
Oh yeah, he is.
And he's actually shot himself in both feet, you know.
He done showed his whole ass while he's sitting there eating pudding with 3 fingers.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Jennie?
Becca, may I please go on a rant for a minute, because
Yes,
I'm seeing something in the chat. We do these YouTube channels for free. We appreciate your donations and super chats and everything, but these are free entertainment for you guys. And if you don't like our fucking language, don't watch. Don't watch. Don't watch. You're grown adults. If you can't handle an occasional F-bomb or shit or whatever, don't watch. Go watch something else.
Fuckity fuck, fuck, fuck.
We are not Mother Teresa. We're not saints.
Motherfuckers. What else can I say?
Well, that just sorts out the audio. Look at Johnie.
Yeah, you're grown adults. If you can't handle an occasional F-bomb, don't watch.
Oh, mate, they'd never survive a week in Australia.
He wouldn't survive 2 seconds walking down the street.
I think one of Australia's claims to fame.
Like,
is
I
that
can't
it's
stand it when
where-
people get so sensitive and they want to control how you talk. It's called freedom of speech.
No,
people.
I know. But in Australia, we swear even in the middle of a word.
Yeah.
So it's kind of absolutely. It's abso-fucking-lutely, right? So you had to.
And by the way, don't ever attack somebody I'm doing a video with, because I'll get your ass.
That's my auntie right there. That's my auntie. Love
That's
you.
a quick way to a block.
Yeah.
Love you. Didn't even see it, but thank you. But I do have my tea towel. If you would like to be further offended, it says fuckity fuck fuck fuck. So if one fuck's not
Given
enough,
to you by Ona, wasn't it?
yeah, given to me by Ona, because that's my word. Fuck. Motherfuck, fuckity fuck. So are we done with DeSatan, or did you guys want to see? He's tanking in the polls. Oh, the Moms for Hate.
Liberty,
Moms for Hate.
Sorry, back up a second. What's this?
Moms for Hate. I call them Moms for Hate.
Yeah.
Moms for Liberty, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
But it's called Moms for Freedom or Moms for Liberty. It's a conservative group that is backed by Steve Bannon. They have ties to the Proud Boys. They have ties to other supremacist groups. And they have a
Their
bunch
website just had a Hitler quote on it or something like that. Or
Yes,
a Nazi quote, something like that.
They have a bunch of chapters throughout a bunch of states. Well, last week, there was one of the leaders for one of the chapters in a state who was basically caught on film bragging about how she just made up all these bullshit charges against a bunch of teachers and librarians. And those teachers and librarians have been put on suspension because this bitch thought it was cool to just start running her mouth and making up all sorts of shit because they're like on this book banning spree where they want all these books banned and all this other stuff. Well, a chapter in, I think it was Indiana or Idaho, I forget what state it was exactly. It started with an I. On their website for their chapter, they had a Hitler quote. They had a fucking Hitler quote saying, if we control the minds of children, we control the future, or something like that. It was a quote from Hitler. And
they're behind all these
clutching their pearls like, oh, how dare you call us a bunch of racists? It's like, bitch, you're quoting fucking Hitler on your website, on your chapter website. You know, so I think the what group was it? The center, the Southern, what is it, Jen? The Southern Poverty Law Center or something like that?
Yeah.
Has identified them as a hate group, which they fucking are. You know,
The
so there
Center
are
for Disease Control should qualify them as
the Center for Disease Control.
In the comments, Aspie says MFL, Mothers for Liberty. Well, they got the two first letters right. MF.
Motherfuckers. Motherfuckers. So I want to know, out of curiosity, because they're showing their whole ass.
Yeah.
And everybody's starting to look into them and seeing their ties and exposing them further and further and further.
They're behind a lot of these book bans, as well as this making stuff up and getting teachers suspended.
Suspended librarians, suspended with teachers don't get paid shit to begin with. And now you're taking somebody's livelihood because of your own bigoted bullshit. Like, so I want to know what happens to these motherfuckers for liberty. We'll just call them that. What happens to them? Because this is just, I would love to see something happen to them like Alex Jones, just sue them out of oblivion, you know?
Oh,
Moms for Liberty.
oh, can I go first? Can I go first?
Yes.
I've only got one card.
Oh.
Oh! I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
Because you know what, though? That makes total, absolute sense. Their entire foundation of what they do is built on saying anything. That's inevitable. That whole tower is going to come. It can't help it. It can't do nothing but come down on them. It's corrupt and illegal in the first place. So that makes sense to me.
I just, all I pray is the gods let me live long enough to where I can witness it, because it's just bullshit. You don't want to read a book, don't read the fucking book. That doesn't give you the right to ban it everywhere. You know, like
They're going to have
It's so shocking. And as someone said on my channel recently, as an Australian, I have to assume I'm American for this moment, which is, this is our country, not your church.
yes.
And I think that slogan should be really widely put out there, because that sums it all up.
They're going to have temperance on the bottom, but they're going to have legal problems. There's going to be new things coming up that they're going to be fighting through the courts. There's a lot of moms that aren't supportive of what they're doing that are going to take action against them. So, and I get, they may like have to pay up, like maybe to some of these teachers and people that they got laid off. It's a trapped mindset, and people see that they're not balanced. So
I need to put that quote on a shirt, Lena. What was it? This is my country, not your church.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Put that shit on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
and Queen of Petty.
Yeah.
Queen
goes
of
on the
Rants
back.
tonight.
I start with the Justice too. And I also get the Seven of Cups. There is something very suspicious. This is not what these cards say. This is what I'm saying. There's something very suspicious about their income. Mind you, homegirl, who's one of the founding chiefs of the whole Moms for Whatever, she raised a bunch of money, got a bunch of donations. Her husband was running for like county commissioner or something in their little place, and they gave him a donation from their coffers. And so that's the type of thing that's going on over there. And there's a whole bunch of little avenues to where this money is not explained. It's not accounted for. So there will be some legal ramifications. There's something, at least investigations coming their way, which will yield something, if you ask me. The Lovers and the Seven of Wands. So they will be defending a lot, actually, going forward. I think they did they have the Trump syndrome to where they wanted attention and now they got it. And so before they were just Moms for Liberty is protesting here and Moms for Liberty is now they're like a headline. And so this is when things become dangerous, because now people could potentially get arrested and go to jail and subpoenaed and indicted and the this and the that for who knows what, especially if you're involved with Steve Bannon, who's a crook from when he was born. And so there is going to be something, Knight of Pentacles and the Star, when it comes to money, not money that was just donated, but what that money did, who it hired, who it paid for, ads, books, buses, campaigns, anything that money went into, that's going to be investigated and traced. And so it would be interesting this time next year what is going on in that whole organization.
What did you get, Auntie Jennie?
I went already. I said they're going to get a bunch of lawsuits and have to pay for salaries they cost and stuff like that.
I don't get any money cards, but here's the book. So this could quite literally be the books that they're fighting to get rid of. Okay? Followed by the lilies, the fox, the whip, and the cross. There's going to be some research and some investigation into the conservative group, because there's some sneaky, fraudulent stuff that may have a pattern to it that's abusive. And then there's pain and suffering here. So it's almost like Johnie said, they're going to get the Trump syndrome. You're doing all this shit and you're going to get put under the microscope, and they're going to find all your dirty laundry. And a lot of people can be investigated and punished here. So
when there's a pattern to it, it's like, then you might be looking at conspiracy and jail time, just like the little peanut butter boys and oath creepers. Because
it's like all these chapters are coordinating. It's a coordinated attack to everybody else, like they're going after books in a very, just like the Proud Boys and Steve Bannon and everybody else. It's a very coordinated attack on these conservative values. And like Lena was saying, that the person I saw in the chat, I think her name is Debbie, this is my country, not your church. Keep that shit for your Sunday school.
Because mind you, we have people on the other side fighting, like banning the Bible. Again, if you don't want to read it, don't read it. But there is no need to ban a book. Information is something all humans should seek out, whether you disagree or agree.
But you have to think this banning the Bible movement is a theatrical device.
It's retaliation.
I'm doing it because you're
behind it aren't actually into banning the Bible. They're making a point.
Because there's a man who is currently making I forget what state, because it's all meshing together now, but they have passed a little ordinance that teachers can put the words "In God We Trust" in their classroom. But the school or the school district is not paying for the signs. You pay for your own signs. Now the man he has now volunteered to make signs, and so he's putting them in different languages. He's making the rainbow "In God We Trust," and he's doing all of the different things that probably would upset a person who is pure conservative Christian. And so he has the "In Satan We Trust" 2 signs, but he's got all that he'll send to you for free, mind you.
Texas is forcing the schools to put the 10 Commandments in all the schools.
Yeah. I mean, it is getting insane. Absolutely fucking insane.
Let me say, the rest of the world doesn't get this. It's like a caliphate in the modern world. It's insane.
What I think it stems from is that is all that the Conservative Party has left. That's all they have left. No policies, no nothing. Just this bunch of crazy people that want a theocracy. Not a theocracy based on, and I was born Catholic, I was raised Catholic, but I would say these people aren't even fucking Christians. They're goddamn bigots.
That's absolutely the case.
So it's like
when I was growing up, not growing up, well, sort of, in my 20s, I was Christian, like hardcore Christian. I went and knocked on people's door, or can you come to church, that type of thing. My pastor would famously say, he would hold up the Bible. He says, "My mind is about that open." And basically what that means is if it's not in here, then it does not exist. And so if God didn't tell us to do it, then that means it's wrong. And so that's the way they live. That's the way they teach their children. Therefore, another generation grows up with a mind that open. And so everything else is iniquitous behavior, because we cannot have that in here. You can't go watch movies. You can't be a man with long hair. You can't be a woman wearing pants. You can't. Their mind is that open, and that's how they raise their kids, and that's why we still have these people around us today.
And what's funny, it's like, what are they going to do next? Burn witches? Are we going to go back to the Salem witch trials?
We'll be in the front line.
Never mind if you're Muslim and got a kid in the school. It's just cramming it down everybody's throats.
It's shoving it down everybody's throats. Yeah. So moving out of that, let's get petty.
But just before we leave the Bible,
Yes,
it's also the most conservative version of the Bible.
Yes.
It's none of this welcoming strangers into your house stuff, turning the other cheek stuff. No, it's all this Old Testament eye for an eye.
Well, not even that, Lena.
mindset.
Not even that, because they're cherry picking.
Exactly.
They're cherry picking.
Yeah.
So-
It starts with the very beginning. We're all created in God's image and likeness. That includes the gays, the straights, the
And if you're
different
going to talk,
races.
You could argue it actually includes those groups.
That's what I'm saying.
the
It
Pete
includes
Buttigieg
everybody,
argument.
because the Bible does
Oh,
not
yeah.
say, except for blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. We're all created in his image and
but
likeness.
if we want to get technical, didn't God create Eve out of Adam's rib?
Well, you would, wouldn't you? You know, you look around and think he needs a playmate. I know.
So technically, God created the first transgender person. If you think about it. So why are we gonna hate? Why are we gonna hate? Like I said, cherry picking. So
Yeah.
anyways,
Do you guys remember Pete Buttigieg, who they should let off the chain and let him deal with Fox and Newsmax and all of those awful outlets, because he is so brilliant
yeah.
with quoting the Bible back to the Bible Belt. That's his forte. Don't put him in New York. Don't put him in Florida. You know, he put him in the Bible Belt.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, Jennie, you know the word I don't. Rudy Giuliani had to talk to the prosecutors about January 6th. And it's not immunity that they gave him. It's not privileged. It's, what's that word?
Proffer
Agreement. Can you explain that to the rest of us?
A proffer agreement is like anything you say can't be used against you in a court of law. It's like, you know you're a target. So you get this proffer agreement so you can come in and talk and hopefully not get slammed with a bunch of indictments and maybe a lesser charge because of it. But it's like, it's a little bit risky doing it, especially if it's somebody you're targeting and you already got the goods on. Like, why would you want to make an agreement with somebody you already got the goods on? But they know it too. So they get that proffer agreement so that they can come in and talk, and hopefully anything they say can't be used against them in a court of law.
So
it's kind of like
so it's not like pleading the fifth, right?
It's so I was about to say it's kind of like pleading the fifth, so that you don't say something that will be used against you.
So in a proffer, when there's a proffer agreement, what you say can still be used against you, correct?
It's supposedly it's not supposed to be able to be used against you,
like
although if they already had the evidence about that, there's a fine line. Glenn Kirshner had a video on it, and I would definitely watch that. And there was a video on Brian Tyler Cohen's channel with Glenn talking about what a proffer agreement is. It's kind of tricky.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a risk involved for the prosecutors, because then something Rudy said they might have wanted to charge him for, but they have to hold back now.
It sounds like it's akin to immunity, to where for your testimony, I'll excuse this, sort of akin to it.
It might be. I'm thinking in terms of Australian law. It can be. It's not full immunity, but we have a similar thing. And what it means is, when you're going to be sentenced for the crimes that we can show you did, it lessens your sentence or the gravity of the charges. So it might be something like that.
Okay.
Which would sort of fit in, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But he's got one.
Good point in the chat. If you lie, it can be used against you.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
well,
so if Lion Rudy got in there and fabricated.
Lion Rudy.
Rudy Tootie, broke-ass Rudy Tootie, 4 Seasons adult bookstore crematorium Giuliani. If he got in there and lied, he's in big trouble.
Did he fart on? But anyways, so I guess where should we start with him? Because they brought him in. They brought a bunch of other people in, which we can get to down the line. another one of Trump aides that was involved in the fake elector
Like
schemes
Roman?
they brought in. Yeah. So
So did Rudy tell everything he knew? Or was he helpful to
was
Jack's
Rudy
this
helpful
team?
to
Yeah.
DOJ?
Okay. So
Was he
was
helpful?
he helpful? Yes, Azalea says, I watched that video you were talking about, Jennie. And
If they lie.
if they lie, they lose the proffer. Right. Okay.
Thank you, Lucky Girl.
wow.
Lucky Girl's posting a link to that video with
Okay,
Glenn.
thank you, Lucky.
It's a hard concept to understand.
Yeah.
See, look at all the stuff we're learning because of these criminal assholes, you guys.
Yeah, we're all halfway through law school right now.
I know.
Yeah. No, totally.
It's better than
I
a
want
Trump
credits.
University
Yeah. Rudy.
There's a
Wow.
Was
lot of
he
people who
helpful?
will be shitting their pants here real soon.
Mm.
He was drunk.
Yeah, really.
He's drunk as usual. Oh, he was way drunk. He was way drunk.
Did he roll in there with the keg, Jennie? Did he roll
Oh
in
my
there?
God. He's drunk off his ass. Oh my God.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, he gives me the creeps, man. Like, ugh. And then when that girl that used to work with him came out, remember saying that he was like sexually harassing her and like making her, I was like, ugh. Like,
Because
no.
she had to admit it because they said, where were you when you heard this?
He's drunk off his
And
ass.
she's obviously saying, I was on my knees just before. I mean,
He was manipulating what he was saying. So in other words, he was lying. So that proffer agreement, yeah, that gets blocked. He's in big trouble in the courts.
Oh,
Was he helpful? No, he was drunk.
oh my God. What'd you get, Lena?
well, I thought I'd use the Russian cards for everything. I'll be kind. He wasn't entirely forthcoming. Let's put it that way. See the chair hiding the light from the window, trying to sneak past. He was trying, in a drunken haze, presumably, you know how it is when you're drunk and you're trying not to do something or you're trying not to.
Why is there 5 of you? Why is there 5 of you?
It's like that. Look, we've all been there. Unfinished business here with this card. So, no, it wasn't entirely possible. Does anyone know, inside, this is a woman crying, but when I picked up this card, it was kind of literal. I think he was weeping with fear and delirium or something at some point. I think he had a bit of a breakdown.
He probably did. He's a
I think he
lawyer.
had a bit of a
Rudy
breakdown.
would have a meltdown.
Like
with
his hair.
dye.
Oh, I know. It was a moment, wasn't it? You know, like, oh my God. And then, look, this is Rudy at the bar, probably after testifying. Okay. And he's
That's
going,
the only bar he has because he's getting this board everywhere else.
no, and here's the chariot, and it's like he's saying to someone who's got a private plane destined for Costa Rica, you know.
Yeah.
I think he's in a deep panic, and then he drinks more because he knows he's blown it. Chug-a-lug-a-lug-a-lug-a-lug. So Rudy, like Trump, I don't think he'll go to jail because any defense lawyer, he'd still have good lawyers, would make the case, I'm sorry, Your Honor, the man is an alcoholic. He needs to, you know, go to a nice little facility somewhere. I don't see him in jail.
I would say, fuck you. You're going to detox in prison.
Like everyone else has
Do
to.
like they do everyone else, handcuff you to the bed
exactly.
while you're on.
Doesn't matter what state of
By
your
the way,
addiction
your
in
roommate's
you
going to
go.
be Stuart Rhodes.
Yeah,
When I
Stewie
see
Yeah,
Rhodes.
him.
cold turkey 8x8 concrete fest of luck pet.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to have that fate because the law is not for everybody. Let's stop pretending. Let's stop pretending no one's above the law.
Oh, I got a story for you, Auntie, after this, and it's going to crack you up. It's going to crack you up. Remind me to tell you about prison, Karin.
Okay.
7 of Pentacles, Knight of Cups. There is a lot of information that he has yet to give up. The Knight of Cups does bring you an offer. Now, it's not necessarily a negative card. Knight of Cups is charm and wit and romance. It's a nice, attractive offer. However, even in that nice, lovely vein, look inside the cup because it could be very shallow. As I always say in the class, my tarot class, the Knight of Cups is 5 nights, 5 days in luxury desert hotel. And then the details is in the middle of Baghdad. And so it's one of them things to where it sounds lovely, but it has very odd details. And so he gave something, but not everything, because he didn't want to and probably couldn't.
Yeah.
The 4 of Cups, this is not going to end, though. Here's the thing that I don't think Trump world understands about investigators. They know things. They know how to do this. Unless they just got out of college and you're their very first case, even then. But other than that, they know you're holding something back. They know you're not telling me everything. They know these type of things, and then they come back and ask you again. It's not like they only get one shot at this. And if they did, we would have had 11 hours worth of testimony like Hillary Clinton did. So it would have been one of them type of things. But there is some more truth that he has to give. 6 of Pentacles is getting out something. Ace of Swords is true. So somebody else is still coming for you. There's a King of Cups. I don't know if that's who you were talking to, but he ain't going nowhere no time soon. So
They also didn't like being trapped right next to him in a room either, so I think he was passing a lot of gas.
Johnie, to your point, Trump is so used to circling himself with sycophants and incompetent people that he probably wasn't expecting the level of guns that the DOJ and Jack Smith brought, because he's used to cocksuckers, basically. You know what I mean? So I get he answered and he realized how much trouble he was in. Like he was trying to get smart and squirrely about it. Then he's seeing this and he's like, oh, I'm fucked. Yeah. But he answered, and I think he realizes the amount of trouble that he's in, because if this is him trying to be smart and manipulate something, no, it's not. He just muddles it up for himself even more. Yeah. And also, to Jennie's point, he could be significantly, like, very sneakily passing gas as well. Like, he was so nervous, he was shitting himself, like sharting his pants. Okay, sharting.
Who was the lawyer sitting next to him when he was doing that in court, and you could hear it?
Oh my God,
that was
when he was farting on the lawyer.
Oh, it was the one that was hiding out somewhere that wouldn't accept the subpoena.
Yes, it was her. He was farting all over her.
I mean, listen, in his slight defense, it only hurts you if you hold it in. So there you go.
Well, if he wasn't drinking so much, maybe he wouldn't, be sharting so much either.
Like when they were trying to subpoena Prince Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
And my sister said, oh, he's running from castle to castle. Like it's like the Middle Ages.
Which he really was.
Yeah.
Jenna Ellis. Thank you, Rose Blue. Jenna Ellis. He was farting next to in court.
So the Trump associate, Jen, the fake elector, what's his name?
Mike Roman.
Mike Roman got pulled in too. He was one of the fake electors, and he got pulled in too, and he just started singing like a little bird.
Yeah, I think all those ones who were newbies, they were on a high. They were on a MAGA high for a minute. Their bosses were telling them you could do this.
Yeah.
They don't want to go to jail for that.
No. No, meanwhile, the orange one is down in Florida golfing and stealing and eating classified documents, and like, who knows what he's doing down there? Like, all these people going to prison. So, what's his name again, Jennie? The fake elector?
Mike Roman.
Mike Roman. So, did Mike Roman tell prosecutors anything useful?
Oh yeah. Let's have a look at Mike Roman's testimony.
I love it because all these journalists are just camping out to see who's going into the grand jury. And
yeah, of course.
What floor they're getting off on in the courthouse.
Exactly. And in Georgia, it's the same with those women, on both sides of the fence, the fake electors and those two black women who were persecuted.
Oh yeah.
For doing the job.
They should file a civil fucking lawsuit against.
I'm sure they are. I'm absolutely sure they are.
They just messed with their whole entire lives. They had to move. They had to go into hiding. They lost their jobs. Like,
it was dreadful. Yeah, absolutely dreadful.
Lori reminded me. Mike Roman was testifying under proffer also.
So he was.
In case you see something about an author, he was testifying under proffer also.
He is, I think, anyway, I could be wrong, but it starts with the Moon card and the Three of Wands. This has no immediate ending. The Three of Wands is usually an indication that something is approaching you. Something is nearing its completion stage. The Moon this is open-ended. There's still a mystery about it. This is not done. There's still some murky details. I think he is going to be working with these people extensively. And I think it is going to continue. I get the Temperance and the Judgment card. There's a loop to this. The Strength card and the Ten of Swords. He has lost all ground, all power position. It's completely gone. So you might as well cooperate. And I think he is, because there's a repeat to his help. And so whoever secrets he's holding, be prepared for him to spill them all.
I get the same thing, Johnny. He's got major regrets. The people charging in and doing this with the fake electors. He's got a strong commitment to him, but now it's like the tower's on him. They have more questions. The investigators have more questions. He knows he's trapped, and he's just going to keep going back in there and gab about all these fake electors. Gab.
Yep.
Did you go, Lena?
Yeah. Well, he was on a fool's errand in the first place.
Just jumping off the mountain.
Yeah. And he trusted, the people who were saying it's okay to do this. He was childlike and naive, if you like, to believe that. But I think he genuinely believed it as it was happening, Then he gets the 2 nights. So he gets, with the page and the night together, you have to think this is highly charged emotionally for this guy. Plus the surprise news thing. I think he actually gave up something they weren't expecting. Normally, lawyers have everything sewn up before they ask their first question. But I think he was so stressed that he actually gave up something that was a bit of a surprise to the actual prosecutors, who went awesome. And it finishes with the Emperor card, which is, in this case, it's normally my Yeti card, but I don't think so. I think it's got more of a legal vibe to it. This is going to be a bigger case. It's not going to finish anytime soon.
Okay. Just to clarify, I misspoke. Lucky Girl was just letting me know that this guy that we were talking about, he wasn't a fake elector. He was part of the dang it, I missed the Mike Roman was the director of election day operations for Trump's campaign.
Right.
So he was not a fake elector.
No, but
Yeah.
he
But
knew
instrumental, absolutely instrumental, meaning the charges would have been higher because he breached a higher office. So everything just goes up But I think, again, I still stand by what we all sort of got.
Yeah, he's involved in it, in the whole.
You know, it was, you can imagine if you were one of them, you'd be high as a kite. We could turn this election around, you know, wow.
They were, what is it that the drug dealers say, Johnny? Like eating your, or testing your own supply or whatever it is that they say?
Getting high off your own supply.
Getting high off your own supply.
Yeah, it's never a winning formula.
Yeah, you know. So I pull the line of 5. It's the ship, the snake, and the man. So there's a transition and the lie, and then him. So he's receiving this. He's right in the middle of it. It's coming to him. This transition lie is coming to him.
Yeah, that's right.
He was advising and guiding others on how to make changes and overturn something.
So he was running the fake electors, essentially.
He was running something because it's man, dog, and storks. He was advising and guiding people on how to make changes and turn something over, to improve something, to change something.
He was probably, I got to fly in here. He was probably working with John Eastman and what's his name that came up with the Green Bay sweep or whatever they called it.
Oh, yeah.
If I look at pips, I can see 2 women. If I take account for the pips. So I don't know if this is a Sidney Powell or I don't know. I'm pulling names out of my ass, but he was they were saying, okay, we're going to do it this way. And then he was advising others or connecting people. Do you see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
y'all dumbasses. But anyways, I'm going to ask a question just for fun. Take this with a grain of salt. When is Jack Smith going to indict Trump and company for Jan 6?
Okay. Just before we get into that, Pamela Doss says, does anybody know when Johnny is giving his next tarot card reading class?
Never.
Oh, no.
He lies.
This was the last one. No, it's not technically. But I have no. Lori from The Way of Positive Change is doing one. I don't know when, but she's doing one. But I don't have one on the schedule at all because come August, my entire schedule changes. So my YouTube channel will change too, to where I probably will only be on here Sunday. So I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't ironed that out yet.
Yeah. Wow. Sorry, I've forgotten the question.
Me too.
When is Jack Smith going to prosecute for January?
Oh, it's a big question.
Now, when is he going to indict for January 6th?
You know, I got Jack Smith on the bottom of here. I think I need a picture of Jack Smith, King of Petty, because, I mean, he is brutal.
I just loved that whole story about how he was just staring down Trump in the courtroom. And Trump
Yes.
I want a picture of him, just that intense look.
Just
And
staring
imagine
at
how
Trump.
intense that was. And it would have been deliberate.
Yeah. I would have done it too. I mean, you know, this guy is used to taking down criminals and former heads of state that were criminals. Like,
yeah.
I'm getting the fake electors like early August, but I'm getting January 6th, September.
Okay.
Like end of September, towards the end of September. And everybody else that was involved that he worked with. He's got something coming in a couple of weeks here too. Like people in the network that Trump was working with.
What have you got?
The one thing I feel bad for him on is I always feel like he's going up a hill. He's making tremendous progress. Something happens and then he has to pause and take that into account and then keep going. I mean, it's a good thing for him because he likes this type of stuff. But it seems like every week there's a new person revealing a new thing that he now has to go to the drawing board on.
Yep.
Again, he's got his dog with a bone mentality, so it's still a good thing. Because I get the 10 of Pentacles and the Tower. because something in his company or something in his business or something in the family with the children too, or is about to blow up completely. About to blow up, blow open, because I also get the high priestess above that. You don't want the high priestess nowhere near your tower because that's where all your secrets are. And so there's also the 10 of swords with that too, which means there's an ending coming to all of that. And so the kids are going to be caught up on something, the business or something like that, something to do with the family. There is the Page of Wands and the 9 of Cups with the Page of, what the heck is this? Pentacles. So somebody is bringing him some information, some physical information. And not only bringing it to him, but this is exactly what he wants. 9 of Cups is your wishes and desires card. They will be granted by somebody. There's a little messenger bird bringing it to him there. So the question was when, I don't know.
Yeah.
But something else is about to happen is what my cards told me. So watch this space, as they say.
Get your popcorn out.
Mm-hmm.
Have your champagne and popcorn stocked and ready, people. There's going to be
That was in his tableau too, because Jack Smith popped up in the judgment position. House judgment would be something repeating. So he attacks and then comes back with another one and then another one. So there's something else that's going to be added to a Trump case.
Well, they just said, Johnny, the whole stolen documents case, they're going to supersede that with another 30-something charges. So they're
30 more something?
Yeah. They're going to get the stolen documents.
It was already 34. It'll go up to like 64. I'm telling you, we're on our way to 500.
if you remember the Grand Tableau, the one that Jennie helped me want, it was like part 4 or part 5 of the Grand Tableau. It's the first 3 cards. It's Anchor, the Storks, and the Ship. What we've been waiting on arrives. The progress is slow, but they add to it. The Storks always adds to something. So
and they're saying he may add to it by doing a case in New Jersey also.
Yeah. Another 34 to 37 charges, I think they so far.
Yeah.
Because it started with what, 7 and then went to 30 something and then now there's 30 something more.
Well, we had heard 7, but when it was unsealed, it was 30.
It's 34. It was
30.
34.
No, it was 37
37.
charges. 37 charges. The 38 was for the
if he doesn't hit 500 felonies, I'm going to be
You'll eat your t-shirt.
Oh God. Okay, there you go.
So we're going to keep adding to, and like Johnny said, it's like he hits him and then he comes back and hits him again. And I mean, it's an ass whooping. Like,
yeah,
Literally.
The record for the most indicted person, federally indicted person in the history of America, guaranteed.
Yeah.
probably in
Well,
the
you
history
might
of
be
the
in a
world.
race with Bolsonaro from Brazil because he's just been told he can't hold public office till 2030. Not long enough, but it's a start.
Yeah. What'd you get, Lena?
Okay. Similar in the sense, not an exact timeline, but the dynamic. So here, I think this is Jack Smith defending, what he's doing and how he's doing it and what the expectations are and where he sits on everything. But with this 5 of Swords, it's like there's still more hurdles legally for him, Jack Smith, to jump. But he's very clear. He thinks with this burden card that he's just about at the end. And then you blink and there's more. This is part of the problem. You can't get to the end of the criminality and the crime spree long enough to properly charge what's happened. And the world, it will change the world, because either Trump will be convicted, as should obviously happen, or God forbid he won't, and the rest of the world will really, really go, well, goodbye, USA.
They have to.
This has global significance.
Yeah, especially
how this is handled.
With the shit he pulled with January 6th on top of the stolen classified documents. It's like he was goading them.
Yes, and that's what some of the comments. Go on, do it to me.
Yeah. And so finally he stuck his orange dick in their eye enough to where they were like, all right, you give us no choice. Because he could have, this whole stolen documents case, he could have just given him back and nothing would have happened.
Exactly.
Nothing would have happened.
Nothing. He's like DeSantis, you know, it's just like go more. And then they wonder why, you know.
So I'm getting, and mind you, I'm being biased because if this is a big if, I screw up all the time. If I'm reading the Grand Tableau correctly, more charges happen around August, around the stolen elections. But there's almost like 2 cases running side by side, very wide in scope, with a bunch of people conspiring. It involves the campaign, how the money got into the campaign, overturning the. Those are the first 3 rows in the Grand Tableau that I'm thinking of. I asked, when does he get indicted? For January 6th, I got the coffin, which is card number 8. That's August. August is the 8th month, right? And then this doesn't really have a date, but that's your pain and suffering and guilt right there. So it's like in August, more guilt. So, but there's more than one case in August. It's kind of like they're running like this, like parallel. Next,
I gotta ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is Jack Smith surprised at the depth of
criminality
and criminality? Is he shocked? And
okay,
I tell you what I think about that, Jennie. I think he would have observed what was going on and think he was across it. I think what may be shocking to him is the extent of support he got every step of the way.
yeah,
Because that is what is shocking, not Trump's behavior.
no.
Of course he'd try anything.
Anybody could have told you that. Anybody could have told you what Trump was
no
doing.
mystery. You know?
he came in to investigate Trump and January 6th, and then the whole documents thing took over, and he had to do that.
Right.
And you know, and to Becca's point, all Trump had to do was give them back, and Jack could have focused on January 6th and the big electors.
Totally. But the universe works in mysterious ways, and it's like the documents case. People understand, whether they like to admit it or not. They actually understand it. It's not complicated. It was there in the news. They heard him say, yeah, it was me. And yeah. So it's kind of good in a way, because the GOP is going to prostitute itself by defending him.
Oh, Lena, because now we're back to, those really weren't classified documents. I was lying about that just came out, where you can hear him shuffling, where he's like, look at this. Now he's saying he was lying.
Okay.
He was lying about showing those reporters classified documents. He didn't have classified documents. He was lying to them. So it's like, oh, so you're admitting to being a liar? Is this the first? Like, he said it was bravado. That it was
That's
bravado.
because he couldn't say braggadocio.
Too many syllables. Oh my gosh.
So I polled on that, and I could be influencing the cars, but I think you're exactly right, Lena. Jack Smith is a professional, first of all, so he's seen this before in other places. I think the thing that may not even surprised him, because again, he's seen this before, but it was one of those type of moments to where he's seen the amount of support for one man who can't do anything for you or won't do anything for you. I get the Wheel of Fortune and I get the Six of Wands. And so this was a matter of time before this thing emerged. The Six of Wands has the person on the horse with the stick and the wreath, and they have a wreath on their head. It follows the Five of Wands. Five of Wands, there's a fight. And then an idea emerges with the wreath is success, or a person emerges the wreath or success. But they have a solution to that Five of Wands. And then with the Wheel of Fortune, everything on earth is a matter of time. And so it's almost like this was going to happen at some point. From the beginning, he saw this man. There's the Fool card. He's a professional. So this is typecast for him. So this is not special because it's Donald Trump. He knows who that kind of person is. But then there's the Two of Cups and the Lover's card. That's what he is more focused on, is the amount of support the Hitler wannabe had. It's like, why do you follow this one person who won't do anything for you? Nine of Cups, the wishes, the pies in the sky. So I don't think he's shocked. I think he's professional. This happens all the time for him.
And I'm really pleased he's got experience outside of America.
Yes. Yes.
Like, speaking as a world citizen, I'm really pleased it's not.
I'm pleased he's a bulldog.
He is hell-bent on justice, hell-bent. And to Johnny's point, he had illumination coming into this, everybody that partnered, but just, what he is surprised at is the people that were willing to sacrifice themselves coming out of the shadows. But he's going to prosecute them all. There's going to be an abundance in how he's structuring this through the courts, and he holds the strong hand. He's got all the evidence. He's got everything he needs. Sword of truth, maybe.
Oh, this is a good comment. Thanks, no middle name. I'm talking about Jesus died for me, and 45 was twice impeached and twice indicted for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how the MAGAs see it. Yeah.
Did you go, Lena?
I can't remember. Sorry.
You don't
I have
remember?
no cards ready. They're back in the pack, so maybe I did, maybe I didn't. It can't be essential.
That he was not so much shocked, but again, career people that were so passionate about following this person, and the amount, the abundance of them that were just willing, like, yeah, you know what? We're lawmakers. We've been to law school. We have law degrees. Oh, you want us to burn it all down? Fuck it. Fine.
Yeah.
We'll go run off a cliff.
Yeah.
So to Lena's point, I think that's what got him the most, the abundance of people that supported him that should have known better. That have made an oath.
And you couldn't help but be shocked.
Yeah.
You know, if like you were in his shoes, you might be a super cool operator and all of that, but the sheer volume of them must have been horrifying.
How many, like 84 fake electors? And then,
but Jen, forget the fake electors. Look at the motherfuckers sitting in fucking Congress.
The peanut butter boys, the oath creepers, it just goes on and on. The people in Congress, the Roger Stones and Bannons and everybody, the Fox News people.
The elected senators, elected Congress people, the fucking wife of a goddamn Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
It's just.
Here's the nice part, though. All of that stuck together still didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Now, what it was supposed to do, never underestimate the ability of humans to mess something up, even if it's handed to you. What it is supposed to do is warn everybody to keep looking out for these things. At least you know the playbook now. Yeah. Beforehand, we were not, when he beat Hillary, we didn't see what they did behind the scenes. They probably did the exact same thing. It's just that now he had 4 years to be disgusting to us, to where the numbers were overwhelming and they couldn't cheat us all. But now we see it, so just pay attention, that's all. Don't be afraid. Don't be fearful. Don't be nervous. Just pay attention.
And vote.
That's it.
And vote.
Action, not emotion.
So I'm going to end with one petty question and then one funny cute one. So what I was telling you, Lena, prison Karin.
Oh, yeah.
Ghislaine Maxwell in prison doesn't like it. She is pissed off because, according to her, she had to pay $200 for boxed hair dye to do an interview on TV. Okay. She's complaining about the sheets. She's complaining about how the vegan food is not good. It's like, honey, where did you think you were going, to the Ritz-Carlton vacation? Like, so she's
Club Med.
Yeah, she's at Club Med.
Isn't it amazing? So, she thinks she's at the Hilton Correctional Center.
Yeah. Well, I saw the pictures of the prison where she's at. It looks like the fucking high school from Saved by the Bell. It's nice. It's nice. It looks like an old high school, like with the, the nice entrance and everything. And I'm like, hello? So they're calling her the prison Karin. So
Right.
what's going to happen to prison Karin? Because she's walking around there with an attitude.
Oh, yeah. Let's ask about
You know, she's pissed off. She doesn't
Ghislaine.
have 2,000.
Mind you, it would be, talk about the mighty fallen, because her father, Maxwell, who destroyed the print industry along with Rupert Murdoch and was the filthiest of the filthiest, she grew up in mind-bending wealth.
Yeah.
You know, makes the Trumps and people look like amateurs, you know. So it would be a shock.
What's disgusting about the whole thing is, like, you have the gall to complain about your situation when you were basically trafficking young girls to a bunch of people, and you were profiting off of it, and you're going to complain about, oh, the vegan food in prison doesn't taste good.
It's a cartoon, isn't it?
She has no remorse, she's
No. Yeah. And she said in an interview years ago to someone, oh, they didn't matter to me. Well, that was obvious. But you know what I mean? Even then, she was trying to make a case for herself. If she'd been more remorseful, she might have had a lesser sentence. But she doesn't get it to this day.
No.
Which is why prisons don't work. That's another point for another conversation for another day.
I'm just gonna say one thing. She better hope she's not Mr. Epps.
I was gonna say she's about to get her ass beat. Not tickets to the park beat.
There might be a little fight in her soul.
Yeah. Although I don't think so. Again, being profoundly wealthy, you don't tell me she's being treated exactly the same.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't believe it. Simple as
She's
that.
at a nice prison in Tallahassee. They should have sent her ass to Rikers or something.
I do not get that she is going to proceed with any favor. There is the 8 of Pentacles and the Lover's card here. There's a few people that possibly they're in the working environment. They don't mistreat her. She just doesn't like it there.
That's right.
You're on timeout, so you're not supposed to like it there. Okay, you literally, when you were out here with the rest of us, ruined people's lives. Yeah. You scarred them forever. So prison is actually too good for you. But with the Chariot and the Page of Swords, you ever washed your hands with lava soap? Lava soap is for people. The name of it, the brand name of it is lava soap. It is for people who have a lot of oil on their hands and things like this. Stuff you need to spray.
Is it grainy?
Yes. Like sandpaper soap.
Like you've been working on a car and you got grease on your hands.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Like sandpaper soap. Yeah. I think some of that will find its way to you. Some things that may have been labeled vegan but are not. So now we're starting to do a little of the trickster type of things, because the Page of Swords is up to no good at all times. And then the Chariot card, those who were once on your side are now sort of going, because this is a card of opposites. So now people are going to start to be a little less lenient and a little more Page of Swordish, not just because of who you are, but because you have now sort of given them the middle finger. Because now you're complaining about everything when you're not supposed to be complaining about anything, because you're in prison.
And you're walking in there with sass and attitude when all these other
now people, you're up here.
Yeah, when all these other people didn't have the privilege of running away for 30, 40 years like you have with Epstein, you're going to make enemies, girlfriend. But even the guards are going to get tired of her shit.
Yeah, totally.
What did you get, Lena?
Well, just that, really. Cutting through the bullshit card. And all I can say is you better get used to it. You know,
I get that there's going to be the arrival of some persistent ass beatings that are going to become routine. And there's going to be agreements made between people. So the prison guards are going to get tired of her shit. The people on cook duty are going to get tired of her shit. The people doing laundry are going to get tired of her shit. Like, you don't.
And it's a closed world.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
There's
a closed
nowhere you
world.
can run to.
That's it there.
You know?
You know, when pedophilia is involved, I don't care if you're a man or a woman in prison, it does not go well.
No, it doesn't. It does not.
For entertainment
So
purposes only.
We're going to end on a funny, happy question. So I was
Okay.
watching today. Otters in Santa Cruz are stealing the surfboards of surfers. They're like going up, taking the surfboards, hijacking them, and just like swimming away with the surfboards. Some of them are riding the surfboards.
Who's it? Sorry, who's doing this?
Otters.
Sea otters.
Sea otters.
Oh, sea otters. I misheard. I thought
The sea otters are stealing the surfboards.
Oh, that is hilarious. The revenge of the sea otters.
Yeah. So why are they doing it? Like, do they think it's funny? Like, curiosity?
Because they do communicate with each
No,
other.
but
So
they're
someone
funny.
did it and they think it's a good idea now.
Mhm.
But to
I
get
was
up
watching-
that close, like there were some videos where they're on the surfboard nose to nose with the surfer
Yeah.
who's in the water, like, get off my board.
Yeah. I just saw one where the guy was swimming back to his surfboard and the otter took the surfboard and got on it and he's like getting away from the guy.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
hilarious.
And I've seen them over in Morro Bay. I took my little sister out there once and there was a guy swimming in the bay, which I was like, I would not have the balls to do that because first of all, that water's cold. Second of all, seals. Third of all, big ass sharks. But this guy was swimming in the bay and all the sea otters were watching him. And this one just got in the water and just started following the guy. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You know, like, you're just curious.
Some of them were scared because they thought when they were getting on the boards that meant there were sharks in the water.
Yeah.
So the people
Everybody's
are like looking
looking.
around, are there sharks? You know,
Nope.
but,
And it's just
but there
the
weren't. They were just stealing the boards.
Oh, now here's an Australian story for you. I was up in Cairns, which is far north Queensland, tropical, and you can't swim in the water for 6 months of the year because there's sharks, there's stonefish that you can stand on that kill you, there's sea snakes, there's crocodiles. You know, you just don't swim. So they've got swimming pools right up to the beach, right? And they've got all these signs, don't swim in the water, don't swim in the water. So some drunk guy, starts wading out into the water, right? And one of the Australian lifeguards goes, mate, get out of there because I'm not coming in to get you.
You're on your own. You're on your own.
That's Rudy going off into the sunset. Trump's
Yeah.
not going to come to get you, Rudy.
When you put the lifeguards' life in danger, they don't have to come get you in the
It's
U.S.
just letting him know.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, have fun.
I get the Queen of Pentacles first card. This is my card for Mother Nature. For she is the
Is it your
nurturing
sea otter
card.
card?
And then I get the Moon, for it does sort of govern the tides. But there's something here with the Five of Swords. They do it because they can.
Yeah.
And mind you, they can't beat you in a foot race up here, but you're in
Right.
their domain. And
There's
so
the-
whatever you put in that water does not belong to you no more because you took it in their house. Now I understand you went to the wherever and bought your surfboard from Surfboard Supplies and tackle shop. But when you went into the water, it became theirs too. So you have to share. They did it because they can. It's all mine.
Yeah.
There's your surfboard. You can cry if you want to, but it belongs to them now.
Oh, I love them. They're just so funny.
I think they're knocking the kings off the tower. Their ego is like, like this is planned, premeditated. Their ego is like, I can do that better. I'm going to be the king here. And there might be a little mating thing to it, like trying to impress the females.
Oh, okay.
But they're like, I can do it better.
No, that's so funny. Oh, well, the Wheel of Fortune, which in the One World Tarot has the mermaid, which is kind of interesting. doing a Desi. And the victory card, it's like, this is cool. This is fun. We rule this place, you know.
You're like, hang 10, man.
Hang 10, hang flippers.
I get that they were looking for options to go in a new direction for a ride. So they're like, hey, it's like a skateboard, but on water. Let's go.
It's like, I don't have to paddle. I can just lay here on it.
There's the one that I was watching. He stole the guy's surfboard, got on the surfboard, was kind of paddling with it, and then just kind of laid there. It was just like, doo-doo-doo. Like, I was like, so cool. So that's all we got for tonight, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you, Lena, for joining us. We always love having you.
It was great. Thanks, guys.
Lots of fun. If you guys are having a bad week, go on YouTube and watch some videos of sea otters stealing boards, because it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Thank you, Johnie and Jennie, and thank you to all the moderators and everybody that super chatted. And
you guys did a great job. Thank you.
We will see you next week on Mr. Johnny's channel down there.
And Tuesday on Lori, the Way of Positive Change channel.
Yep.
Hi, Lori. She called in tonight too.
Yeah.
We'll be over at Lori's channel on Tuesday. So
be safe for the 4th.
Yeah, watch your animals.
Watch out for the parades. You know what happened here in Illinois last year on the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, be careful. Watch the animals for loud noises if your animals get scared. And wishing everybody a happy and safe 4th.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Ciao.